Hey YouTube, today I want to talk about the brand new Warhammer game Space Marine 2. Let's start off with the multiplayer, and then we're going to move on to the campaign and finally the operations. So there are 6 classes, all with a special ability. My favourite class is Tactical. Fatality! Just because he's very easy to play, even if you don't play PvP games a lot. His ability creates a scan area, detecting enemies in its radius for the team. The classes all seem pretty balanced to me, but Bulwark and Heavy seem pretty strong when played together. I've seen a lot of teams using this and it seems to be kind of the meta right now. The 3 game modes are Seize Ground, Capture and Control, and Annihilation. I enjoy them equally, to be honest. Overall, I think the multiplayer is pretty fair. Playing as a team and moving as a unit is going to give you an advantage, which I think is a pretty good thing. The customization is unlocked by winning and grinding, giving the player something extra to play for. That looks amazing. If I could add anything to it right now, it would probably be a couple extra game modes and a few extra maps, but overall it's a really fun experience. Now let's talk about the campaign. And in this video we won't be talking about anything that spoils the story, so don't worry. The missions are pretty fun. A couple boss fights were a little tedious.
I just want to double down on this comment about the boss fights real quick. The boss fights in this game are actually just terrible. Every boss in this game has just been a boring sludge to go through to get to the next cool horde fighting part, okay? Or to play multiplayer or operations. And I like the fact there is bosses. I respect the decision to put bosses in this game. And I think they look cool, the arenas look cool, all of that. The vibe is incredible. The boss, the fight itself isn't. And all I think they need to do is either decrease the health a little bit or make them do like 3 times more attacks. If you get past them, it's back to great scenery, combat, and a good story too. Lord Titus is a really cool character, and I think the squad is better than in Space Marine 1 in my opinion. So yeah, without spoiling the campaign, I can't really talk too much about it, but I really want you to go play it for yourself. Let's go on to the operations. Now I compare them they're kind of like a roguelike. So there are 6 missions, and then there's also difficulties. There's 4 difficulties, and for each difficulty you need to be a recommended level. Well, you don't need to be, but you should be. It's the recommended level. And by leveling up your characters in this game mode, which by the way has the same classes as multiplayer, just now you have a perk tree, and the perk tree, there's a lot of perks on it and they're pretty good, and it just makes your character stronger, gives you buffs and things of the such, which essentially allows you to scale your character and power as you're repeating the same map over and over again, just to do it again on the same or higher difficulty. Hey guys, I just want to say it's not actually roguelike. If anything, it would be a roguelite, which means it doesn't strictly adhere to the rules of a roguelike as much, which I think is a lot more accurate. Which means, you know, as like a mission's going on in the campaign, let's say there will be a mission going on the same planet at the same time that's linked to you, and they turned into an operation, then there's just a couple normal ones. Operations are dope, alright? They're basically just a campaign offshoot which is built to have way more replayability to it, and I think they're pretty cool. I think they're awesome. I think it's, you know, once again, as I've said for all of these game modes, and this is the last one, you should give it a shot. I think they're all, none of these game modes could be put below a 6 out of 10 in my opinion. They are good or better. Now let's talk about some other things you can expect from this game. Of course, everything in this game looks incredible. The graphics are really good. I also love the colors a lot. The way just effects and colors make this game feel is pretty cool. Things feel like they have impact and vibrancy, which is missing in some games. Now I think they could have spent a little less time on the visual fidelity and a bit more on like game modes and maps, but the base of the game is so solid, and with the promise of future content, I don't really see a problem with that. There was just one problem, which I haven't been getting recently, but on release for about the first week or so, almost all of the time it was just impossible for me to connect to a game. I don't think they've even changed anything. I think it just was servers. I think the servers were just like struggling because of how many people just bought the game, but I'm happy I'm not getting that problem anymore, because I was getting pretty tilted at that. The guns are really cool. You might think, oh, I don't want to use that kind of gun, you know, normally I don't like those kinds of guns, but you pick them up and I feel like every gun in this game has sort of a specific use case, and if you use them correctly, they all dish out similar amounts of performance for their use case.
but if you use them wrongly, they can be very, very much weaker than another gun in the same situation, which I enjoy. I find it quite fun, but also there isn't really a gun that's completely useless in any situation, I don't think. With the combination of a melee, a sidearm, and the primary, you can't really go wrong. You got grenades as well, and your ability. You're pretty stacked. The health has been a problem for me in this game, but that's because all I've played is multiplayer and campaign on the second hardest difficulty. So yeah, I got the standard edition of this game, and I've put in a solid 32 hours of gameplay, although I will admit, probably a good 7 of those were loading screens crashing, infinite loading screens and such, just from those first days where I think the servers were under a lot of stress. But apart from that, I have nothing apart from good things to say about this game. The difficulty can go up or down, whether you choose, you know. It looks amazing. The executions, and there's parries and combat. The only thing I really actually would complain about that's in the game is the boss fights. They're just too slow. I just think they're way too slow. It might be because I'm on the second hardest difficulty, but some of these boss fights take forever to beat. And, you know, not even dying, like just an attempt, I feel like it just drags on a bit. They don't attack enough. It's like, you have to wait until you get to their whole second phase. But on a real, yeah, I feel like the bosses definitely need to attack more. And yeah, they're not very scary fights, really. Even on the second hardest difficulty, I just feel like they take a little while to do. They feel a little boring, but most of the bosses are cool, and you know, the arenas are cool and stuff. I just think some things about the fights could be changed. But apart from that, I have nothing but praise for this game. I highly recommend it. I don't have the most experience on the game, and it's also fairly new, so right now, I'd say I'd give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Probably like a high 6, low 7 kind of thing. But, you know, if you're a fan of Warhammer, or even just you like this kind of thing, I think it does bump it up a bit. You know, it makes it a lot cooler to play, and I would recommend it. But that's about it for this video. Let me know what you think of Space Marine 2 down in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a like or a dislike, and have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.